Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, powered by Next Door Photos. I'm Patrick Braddick, owner and publisher of Cincinnati Real Producers.
And I'm Daniel Ziegler, owner of Next Door Photos. Every week, we're getting to know Cincinnati's top realtors.
Our goal is to elevate and inspire the real estate community throughout greater Cincinnati.
Well, today we have Ryan Rowley, the team lead for the Ryan Rowley Group, brokered by Keller Williams, Seven Hills. Ryan is in his 8th year selling real estate, and his career sales volume is over $50 million. In 2023 alone, his team's volume was over $8.5 million. Ryan has been recognized at Circle of Excellence, and he's received the Ohio Association of Realtors President's Sales Club Award. He's also served on the International Agent Leadership Council for Keller Williams. Additionally, Patrick and I would like to thank Ryan for his service in the United States Army. Welcome to the show, Ryan Rowley.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up? Thank you guys so much for having me on here. It's a pleasure.
It's our honor.
I've been watching your episodes. You've had some really esteemed guests on here, and who are some of my favorite realtors. So I've loved watching those, and I'm honored to be on here. So
We're honored to have you, my friend.
Absolutely.
I was just thinking about this. I didn't bring it up pre-production. I met you. You remember when we first
on the
met?
rooftop, yeah,
On the
at
rooftop?
Mad
It
Tree,
was Ryan Geist.
yeah, or Ryan Geist. That's
after,
right.
Red Day or whatever that was.
Yeah,
That was right when I started.
you came down here and you said, "Hey,
Real producers.
yeah, we're gonna do this real producer thing, and we're trying to get to know some realtors." And I was like, "Well, give me your
You were
card and we'll
great,
talk."
man. We're gonna dive in, man. We have a lot to talk about today. Ryan is like we said in the intro, is 8 years in. I met him probably around year 2, as you were growing, and man, real estate. How's real estate going for you?
Man, it's been a ride, right?
Yeah.
Especially this past year, it's been kind of fun.
Yeah,
Past 3 years, shoot.
I was gonna say, what's really changed in the past year that has impacted your life from a tiny little human being that's now blessed us in this.
Well, that was the biggest thing that happened this
Yeah.
year was, my wife got pregnant. We got married last year. She got pregnant in February, probably after our friend's wedding. Who was one of my groomsmen, and I'll give her a shout out. It was, it's Nikki Squeary now. It was Nikki Isabel with U Mortgage,
Okay.
and they met at a home buyer seminar that we were putting on.
Oh my gosh.
At Aqua on the Levee. Where
No
I was
way.
living. Yeah, it was no kidding. And now they're married, and that's where we made a baby. And she came out in November, and she's beautiful, and we love her. And of course, being a former military guy, her initials are RGR.
Nice.
Nice.
Ramona Grace Rowley. So she's beautiful. So thank you guys.
Congratulations.
It's such a blessing. So the industry has changed a lot. Let's talk about your business, man. How's everything been going the last 3-4 years?
Well, it's changed a lot. The market's changed. My mindset has changed. I think when we met, I was trying to build out a real estate team. I had a bunch of agents on my team. And then after my son was born, I just got rid of everybody. And in fact, I even questioned if I wanted to do this anymore. I was kind of, I don't know, wishy-washy about it.
Sure.
In fact, I preferred driving Uber. It was much better than doing real estate anymore. I was just burnt out. And I had this new kid, and I was trying to had this whole new life and new adjustment to get used to.
Sure.
Yeah, just kind of took some time to myself and did real estate and really focused on being a dad. I know I had a conversation with one of my mentors, Peter Chabris, and he asked me, he said, don't you want to get out there and just work like your butt off and everything? And I said, no, I want to enjoy the first 5 years of this kid's life. And that's really what I did. So luckily I've been able to maintain good sales volume and good lifestyle and everything to be able to contribute to this kid, and it's been fantastic. So I've had a really great 5 years. But I told everybody after my son was in preschool, when he went to school, I was going to get back into the real estate team building business, and that's exactly what I've been doing this year.
Yeah, and I've seen you've been growing hand over fist over the last year, just based on numbers and everything like that. But like, And second of all, love seeing the updates on your son through social media.
Thank
Looks
you.
like a great kid. Just had his 5th birthday.
Just had his 5th birthday. We had a big birthday party, and Danny was there, brought his family. We rented out Urban Air Trampoline Park in Oakley and had probably 20, 30 kids there. I mean, it was great. Had the park to ourselves. We had pizza, drinks.
That was a
good time.
blast.
It was a blast.
Oh my gosh,
I
no
had
kidding.
fun.
I had
So
a lot.
really that's all that matters. And the best part about it is we ended up raising a bunch of money for charity. So yeah, I got to invite all the kids from my son's class and make it a family business, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
So he themed it. We just put it together because we wanted to do something for the community, and we got people who responded via Evite. We had an Eventbrite out there in the community, and people just showed up randomly.
Oh, really?
Like, okay.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either, but
So
it
funny.
happened. I was like, "Welcome come on in," and they took T-shirts, everything. It was great.
That's fantastic.
Left raving fans, so that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's a win.
So yeah, chalk that one up as a win this
Mhm.
month. So
Absolutely. So we want to dive into your business, but I think that when we talk about our whys, and I know you're going to dive into this as being one of the most important outside of your family, the why. And from our perspective, or from my perspective, I think it's so important to hear somebody from your perspective who's a past military veteran, who's seen things that a lot of people haven't seen in their lives and won't see, and the way you've dealt with it. And if we could show Ruby, Ryan's support dog is here, who actively help you and your PTSD through everything that you've been through in your life. So can we talk about that and your why and what's most important to you? Because I think it's going to be one of the most intriguing conversations we've had on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
sure. Yeah, where to start? That's it. I mean, it is. I just did a vision speech in October, and I invited a bunch of our affiliates and everything like that there to give them an idea of what we're trying to do here and why, because it's important.
Sure.
And I've been teaching classes this past year for Keller Williams classes for Keller Williams University, and that's been great. And I had one agent. She said, there's a girl, and she said her why is her kid, and I don't have any kids. And I was like, well, it doesn't have to be your kid. It can be. It starts there, right? You have to have something bigger than yourself to bring you purpose in your life, right? So my why just kept getting bigger because I'm just like everybody else, and I'm super lazy, right? And so it's this constant fight between being lazy and not being lazy, and so you have to find something that really motivates you to get you that burning fire inside you, so when you wake up, you want to jump out of bed. You're not dragging ass to get to work and just doing the bare minimum. Like, you are committed and intentional with every single moment of your day that you have, right? And so just building your why to that. And so how did I do that? Yeah, I mean, frankly, it started with this dog, right? I was really broken. It's funny. Like, I had another service dog prior to this, and it was run over by a car. Like we were getting in the car, and this lady whipped around the corner and almost hit me. Like, literally watched the dog die. It was crazy, right? So agent community, amazing response, which is one of the things I just love about being a realtor. Much better than being a ranger, right? So, had that happen in the Army, there would be no remorse. They would make fun of me. In fact, I made a mistake and posted a picture of my dog after it had been run over on Facebook. Luckily, I took it down right away because I had a bunch of friends from the military who wanted that picture so they could make memes out of it and just hammer me for it for eternity. So luckily, I pulled that down. Hopefully, I'm the only one who's got that picture. So quite a different community where I have one that's sending me cards and thinking of you and things like that. My parents came down because at Thanksgiving that year, they asked, they said, what would you do if anything ever happened to that dog? And I was like, well, I'd probably just put a gun in my mouth and end it. And and I think that's, it started to rebuild why I'm in business to begin with. And it's because, I've been down in that deep, dark place, and not after my dog died, but way before, like after I got out.
Sure.
And there, there's just a mass amount of people who were there. And, before I got into real estate, I used to work with suicidal veterans, and pardon me, they,
By all means,
it just really makes me sad to see the destructiveness, the self-imposed destructiveness that happens in the life of a veteran, right? So, thanks. And so we had these guys, so I banded together with some other guys. We were having guys every week. There was another guy committing suicide from like 2013, 14, 15. And I happened to be in Toledo, and one of the guys who was a medic in my unit, somebody had reached out and said, we haven't heard from him in 2 or 3 days. We need to go check on him. Would you mind? And I was in Toledo at the time, and so I drove 45 minutes up to Ann Arbor, went and checked on this guy. It was great. Turned out, we went down to the bar, had a couple beers and everything. I didn't know just how bad it was. I had never really dealt with people in that state before. Sure. We hung out and then planned on seeing each other again in a couple days. Well, that day he started calling me. I couldn't make it that night because I was in the logistics business. I had a truck that didn't make it. I had to find a new truck to go in and cover the shipment. And so, so I ended up not making it up there to see him that night. And I apologized, said, I'll come tomorrow night instead. Well, he got really bad, felt like he was, suicidal, started telling me, goodbye, all this other stuff, text me this crazy stuff at like 2:30 in the morning. So I just hopped in my car and I called the suicide hotline. And I said, hey, can you call this guy? He's not answering my phone number anymore. Maybe he'll call you, and just see if he's okay. And she called him, and I was already in my car getting ready, pulling out of the from my parents' house in Toledo, trying to drive up to where he lived, 3 o'clock in the morning, just hoping he's still alive. The lady calls me back, and she's like, you need to get up there now. She's like, he's going to die. And, I got up there, parked in this random lot. It's like 3:30. There's some police case in the building next door. And I walk up, and just by, serendipitously, this girl was coming out the door because the door was locked. So I went to the door, locked. I can't get in the building. This girl just comes down. It's like 3:30, 4 in the morning. I'm like, what in the heck are you doing up? She opens the door. I just zip right in. I knew which one to go to. I went to his door, knocked on it. He opened the door, saw it was me, kind of stumbled around. I looked in his apartment, and there was just blood everywhere. And I was like, holy smokes, he's just bleeding out from his wrist. He's obviously a medic. He knew how to do it the right way. And so he cut it the long way, just bleeding out, crazy. And I saw this knife sticking in the floor, so I grabbed that. I ran downstairs, yelled at the cops. They came over, they were like, is that a knife in your hand? I slid it across the ground. I said, my friend tried to kill himself, and he locked the door so we couldn't get back in. We kicked open the door, got him in an ambulance, got him to the VA. He was locked up for like a week or so in the mental health department, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
if you're that way, like you need some help, and it's not a bad place to be.
Right.
In fact, the VA clinic in Fort Thomas has one of the best PTSD clinics in the entire country.
Really?
I'm actually a proud graduate of their program.
Sure.
They have what's it called? A treatment program that you can go through that's like 16 weeks. It took me about 22 because of vacations and missing things and not doing the homework, because doing the work is it's the deep work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
You got to dig deep in yourself. And
you do.
How?
Sorry, this conversation kind of got derailed, but anyway, so this guy, we got him to the hospital, we got him there, and how it ties all back is, there was a resurgence, this summer. His wife just put him on a plane and sent him to me from Michigan, and, his sister had committed suicide, and I mean, just all kinds of, more issues. He had a baby, this baby boy, back in May, and it's just, and he came to visit, and, and I tried to get him into the clinic. We couldn't get him in. They told me it was walk-in. It wasn't. So that kind of put a hamper, but, the good news was like, my son and I actually walked him in. I could tell he was really scared to go.
Sure.
And didn't want to doesn't want to deal with doctors and things like that. And that's pretty common. And so we took him over there. We played at the playground behind it. And I was like, let's go check it out, and I'm not forcing you to stay here. You don't have to stay. I don't care. But like, let's get the information.
Yeah.
And he did. And then, he was at the VA for a few weeks. Then he came out, and he actually attended one of my events, which is great.
That's awesome.
Great guy. Just was in sometimes you just get in those dark holes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that could happen for anybody, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You don't have to have seen combat to do it. I mean,
Sure.
Combat is just, it's a stressful, traumatic environment. But I mean, so's getting beat every day by your father, or or living in, like a gang related area where you're, walking to school and you got PTSD from, hopefully nobody shoots me on the way to school.
Sure.
There's a lot of,
That's why I think it's important to talk about it and talk to you about it specifically, is like mental health is such on the forefront. Whereas, you relate back to your fellow veterans who have that stance of, let me make fun of this, and, like, get it together, you're fine. And then you have your real estate side who's, so we have the compassion to say, what can we do to help? Like, and the mental health aspect can affect everybody, like you said. So how does that play into your real estate? And how have you been able to help people, not on such a big scale, but I'm sure there's mental blocks and stuff like that. You've been able to help other realtors and people in the industry, getting through that, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's what veterans are best at, right? Like, these guys are willing to raise their hand and say, I'll die for you. I'll die for you. I mean, gotta respect that.
Absolutely. 100%.
And I think they're a strong community. We talk about superheroes a lot in our family. There's a lot of superheroes out there, like everyday superheroes.
For sure.
And, it's that person who's there, to just help other people. And veterans are great at that.
Yeah.
What they're not good at is taking care of themselves. And I think that's where I see an opportunity to be a voice in the veteran community. Is everybody knows Jocko Wilkins, right?
Sure.
David Goggins. Who else? What are some other big names out there? I don't know.
Oh man, those are the two big ones that I.
Those are the only ones I know. I mean, I don't know. Other than the guys I served with, which there's a lot of really great heroes, that came from the Ranger Battalion that I know, and I didn't even realize, like, I'm standing next to all these giants, and I'm friends with all these guys, and what a difference can once you kind of get out from outside of yourself, and you're just like this self-pity and and I think it may stem from like moral injuries or whatever, because in the military, you're forced to do things that you normally probably wouldn't do in a civilized, normal society, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tell my wife all the time, I said, I know I don't look like it or anything, but I've easily been in over 100 street fights. I met with one of my buyers the other day, who's another Ranger that I worked with, and he pulled the trigger and blew up part of his lung out, and I couldn't. I mean, this was right before my son was born. I was going up and down Brotherton Road, couldn't find him, and I took that one hard on myself for a while, but that was a difficult one, but he's doing great now. Love that guy. Hang out with him, getting him set up. He's going to buy a multifam, living his best life now.
That's awesome.
And so, all of that brings me to my big why, which is, I got to go out there and help more people change that mental health mindset.
Sure.
And I was thinking about it. I was like, man, David Goggins is a big name. Jocko, all these guys are big names. Those are the guys I worked with next to day in and day out. I'm just as big as my street cred is just as big as theirs.
Sure.
In fact, David Goggins didn't deploy. He never served in combat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we used to rescue Navy SEALs. Like that was our mission. I went on a lot of missions where I went to rescue Navy SEALs and Rangers. There's a saying, they said, when Delta's in trouble, they call the Rangers. When the SEALs are in trouble, they call the Rangers. When the Rangers are in trouble, they call more Rangers, right? Because we did. We went and took care of business. In fact, the Ranger Regiment was in charge of JSOC in Afghanistan and kind of ran the operations there from like 2005 to 2008.
Wow,
it was great. As far as like the military goes and the combat deployments and everything, I was a part of several different joint task force. So I got to serve with all the best in the business, and that was a really great experience. But I look back and I say, I was listening to my friend Brock Hooten. If you've ever watched that movie Black Hawk Down, his dad is the Hoot. This is my safety, sir. And so that was the character portrayed by his dad, and who was an actual Delta operator.
Sure.
And Brock was on a podcast, and he was talking, and he said, "What'd you think?" And I said, "Well, initially, I said besides the F words, every other word." I said, which I instantly knew you were legit.
Yeah.
That's how Rangers talk. So when I get super excited, sometimes I drop the F-bomb, and I'm like, oh gosh, I didn't mean to do that.
Right.
Just kind of old habits die hard.
Yeah.
It's called an infantry mouth for a reason. And but anyway, there was something in particular that he said to me, and he said, we were specially selected and well-trained, right? So, the people, there's a commonality between the people who end up becoming Rangers and serving in these elite units or any type of elite type of, being in the top 1% of anything. It's just a personality trait maybe, or a mindset. And, I feel like success leaves clues, and I feel like I've always been attracted to these type of individuals no matter what I do. I always find myself in the top subset of everything, which I think kind of annoys my wife. But I just happen to be pretty good at about everything, and it's fun. But it also presents a challenge because you don't know what to do when the opportunity door is so far wide open. It can lead to a lot, and so I've hopped around at a lot of different things in life, and Army Rangers just happened to be one of them. Was I built and designed to be one of those guys? Well, the broken back and messed up shoulders and everything like that would probably say otherwise, but I did it, and I served the best I could, and fought honorably, and was in a lot of firefights and things like that. So,
well, I've said it already, but we'll say it again. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. So,
Truly.
But it's quite, the honor's all mine. I served along, some of the best in the business. And so when you think of, these guys, those are my friends. In fact, the linebacker or the offensive lineman squad that I had as a groomsman at my wedding. I told my son, I said, just stand by them. They will protect you with anything. There's JSOC, lieutenant colonels in JSOC. I got DIA, CIA type people. I mean, just, titans in whatever they do. My one friend, he's a wine titan. He's amazing. I've been doing these great wine events, for my clients and friends and family and things like that. And they've been
That's a
really
cool
great,
idea,
super educational.
Yeah.
This guy's just a wealth of knowledge. I just wanted to get more video footage of him talking about wine because he's just so smart.
Mhm.
And I just love those type of people, those people who are just excellent at what they do. And
Sure.
they're just, you can tell they have a real passion for whatever they're, in the moment, whatever they're doing. And that's, I think that's what defines the Ranger Battalion. Because there's certain codes, like if you still are stuck in Ranger Battalion, if you're still like every day, that's all you talk about and do, and you're wearing your T-shirts every day and stuff, you're gonna probably get made fun of for still getting stuck in whatever that was. We want to see people who move forward and succeed, further in life. That's
Mhm.
those people are admired.
That's awesome.
Because that's the type of mentality it is.
Yeah.
Love him or hate him, Donald Trump is a similar type of person. This guy has been successful, whether you like him or not, and bankruptcies aside, at multiple different disciplines, like at the highest level, and that's a difficult thing to do, and it takes a highly intelligent, highly disciplined person to be able to do, to become highly skilled in multiple disciplines, right?
Sure.
And I think that, like, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Army Rangers, these guys can learn rapidly and be excellent at something in a very fast,
Short period of time. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Well, that's probably why you've been so successful in everything you do, like real estate. I know you
Right.
play the guitar. Like, you've taught your son music, we were talking about that pre-production. Like
Yeah.
that's really cool too. And how,
Mhm.
he's doing open mic nights and putting himself out there at 5 years old. And, the passion just pours from your body. Like just in the few minutes we've been talking, the passion is more than I've seen of anybody we've ever interviewed. So like, the thought of you not being successful has never crossed my mind,
Right.
like, which is truly a testament to probably everything that you've been through. So
right.
it's amazing, man.
Well, it's cool. It's like in high school, I was a Eagle Scout. I got my black belt in Taekwondo. I got 4.0 in high school, and not the whole time, but I did it just, I'm
I
like,
can do
all
it.
right,
Yeah,
I knock
why
it out.
not?
It's kind of
Right.
like, it's like these sales awards and stuff. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care about them. Like, I'm on a mission. In fact, it's funny because I solidified last year on my honeymoon, basically got really ikigai with my life. Are you familiar with this term? It's a Japanese term. It means basically being in the flow and finding like the true meaning, so that like every aspect of your life is all moving towards the same direction, right? It's
That's
all going
fantastic.
towards the same big picture idea,
Right. That's phenomenal.
And mine's going to be like Mr. Rogers. I would say. I just, I think he's a nice guy. He's got a great attitude. He was very accepting and just an amazing guy. I wish the rumors were true, and he was also a Marine Corps sniper and had all these kills and stuff. But, that's not true. But yeah, that's and going back to that big why of my business, right? So all these things, my kids, my family, my friends, like my desire to succeed, and figure this out. Like when I was growing a team before, I never really learned how to grow a real estate business. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking me and I'm applying it to Gary Keller's real estate model. And then I'm taking my big why, because I don't need all this money. I mean,
Right.
I'm fine. I mean, if I, 70,000, they said is where the happiness, bubble is. And that's true. And everything over that is kind of showboating to me. I don't need fancy things. In fact, I'm trying to get rid of things. I'm more of a minimalist. And, my car has over 200,000 miles on it. I'm sure I'll get a new one this year, but
Sure.
it doesn't matter to me. That's not the image. The image is in the good works that I'm doing and using my business as a leverage tool to do those good works, right?
Sure.
And
Well, I think it reflects on your service too, like the service that you've provided, not just to your country, but to your clients,
right.
and it's on a much smaller scale, obviously, but like the service standard that you have breeds success, and I think that's the difference between a good agent and a great agent. If you're good at real estate, that's one thing, but if you're great, the service standards that you provide to your clients are second to none,
Right.
like, and that's a testament to you and the systems that you've set up too. So,
Well, and that's what I had to do is go learn the systems, right?
Right.
And that's what I've been thinking. I've been moving around software and things like that. But essentially, the purpose of business, is to fund the perfect life. And if the world were perfect, I would be working with more veterans and trying to turn their mental habits and creating better habits and better mindset to help them succeed in the world where people aren't trying to kill you every day.
right.
Right. I've been out for a long time and nobody's killed me yet. I've never seen an Al-Qaeda guy stalking my house. Sometimes I think they do, but, they haven't. Right. And so
Right.
I live in a relatively, the past 15, and this is what they talk to you in therapy about is to get over that mindset of being on edge all the time, that, not being able to sit with your back to the door.
Yeah.
This, is slightly uncomfortable for me.
I didn't even think about that.
I know. Right. And
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
But I don't care. And I'm just going to go with it, because I am able to rationalize out, and this is the best thing that came from that therapy, was being able to and I do it with almost everything, is I rationalize out, is this a habit or a fact?
Sure.
Right. Is it just something I'm doing habitually, or is this like a real fact that I can't overcome?
Right.
And when you start approaching life like that, you learn to just solve all your problems, right? And so then there's no victim mentality. There's no need for anybody to to give you charity if you are giving yourself charity.
Right.
And it starts in that mindset.
Man,
And so I really, that if there's one thing I've done in my life, it's been changing that mindset from where it was, post military to where it is today, being almost a resurgence. I mean, even my body, I lost 20 pounds this year. You physical changes in your body, going back to who I was prior to that, signing that service line.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's just a mindset thing. Like, I don't beat myself up anymore. I actually think I'm a pretty smart guy, and
I think you are too, man.
and I like myself again. And I'm working on my habits. So I have good habits to support the life that I'm trying to build. And before, I didn't think I was going to make it to 30. In fact, I was hoping I wouldn't.
Wow.
It just seemed like a pain in the ass. Anything after that.
No kidding.
And it's been a blessing, right? Like, so these past 5 years have really been great for me to rebuild my life the way I want it. And so I started, they teach you in Bold, start at the foundation. I went back to the basics and got a new dog, right? And then I had this great son. And I have a great friendship. I'm a Freemason here in Cincinnati, and I'm like a past district education officer, past worshipful master of my lodge, Caliburn Lodge, which got to give them a shout out. They are some of the finest guys on the planet, and some big name guys, and just, it's one of the things I look forward to every month is my monthly meetings with these guys, because I get to just pick their brains. I mean, I have neuroscientists and attorneys, and the guy he's the CEO of Grater's Ice Creams in my lodge. Like, I mean, to be able to pick their brains once a month is a great thing. I mean, we have some real big leaders and some, Bitcoin millionaires. I mean, all kinds of, just amazing guys, and they're all Renaissance men. And I
Mhm.
think that's where the happiness factor lies, is not in being unilaterally really good at one thing, but to be good at a lot of multiple
Sure.
disciplines, right?
Mhm.
And enjoy multiple disciplines. I really like Gary Keller's one thing, and I think, you shouldn't kind of narrow stuff down. But that's focus on the present. That's more of a, you can do multiple disciplines.
Sure.
I'm relying heavily on my calendar. This, last year I named it Think. I don't know if you've ever seen the Keller Williams hierarchy
Mhm.
of pyramids. So the mission is, you think like a millionaire, and then you earn like a millionaire, and then you receive $1 million, and then you give $1 million, right? And so you're going up this pyramid of money and what you can do with it, and it's kind of like self-awareness as well,
Sure.
right? And so at self-actualization, hopefully I'll be on the stage with guys like David
Jocko
Goggins, yeah.
And get David Goggins.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be on stage, with a new message and a more understanding and a more loving message to veterans, and be able to represent not this, I can kill you in a second, right? Type of attitude, but more of, sure, I can do, I'm prepped to defend my family, but, the amount of love I can give to this world,
Right.
like that's the measurement I want to go by.
What can I do to help you survive? Yeah.
Right.
That's great. And thrive.
So we structured our entire business around that entire thing. And so like our events, their community events, we try to involve charities. We try to involve, my past clients, like, different artists. We did a Meet the Artist event with a guy who's trying to get his artwork out there, right?
Yeah.
Help promote him. Just different people in the community. We're highlighting different areas of town. Really we just want to get out there, and our motto is we build wealthy communities. And I think wealthy doesn't have to be about dollars and cents. It's about a mindset, right?
Sure.
And and that's the mindset I'd like to bring to veterans everywhere once I figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm in the developmental stage, and I'm documenting this and trying to figure out what actually works and what doesn't, what has helped and what hasn't, right? And I'll tell you, affirmations have really helped.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing I do every morning, and it's, if for nothing more, it's just so that the first words that come out of my mouth are gratitude, and powerful and positive and enlightening,
Yeah.
right? And I want to be that guy,
Yeah.
not the I'll beat you down,
Right.
because I'm sure I could find an insecurity about each one of you and just like riddle you down and
just
make
go for it,
you
yeah.
cry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We made people go AWOL because we
crazy.
tormented them. My platoon went under investigation 3 times by the big army for hazing. And if you're hazing in the Ranger Battalion, you're getting after it, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
They
You
used
probably
to
have to, 'cause
they
you
used
guys
to
are
do
so-
this thing called Rangers in the Hallway. We used to get out in the hallway and literally fight each other. And guys would get, lose their teeth, get banged up, get broken bones. This was you seriously fought each other. This wasn't, they were like, you fight you.
Wow.
Can you imagine if I just said, you fight you, and you're like, all right, right now,
Right.
do it. Or you would get beat up.
Yeah.
It's like gang mentality. It's crazy.
Wow.
But
That is unbelievable.
they breed the toughness into you.
Sure.
And you're just, you have no humility left. You have nothing, because you have to be able to go just die willingly. Right. And so to bring that back, so you've basically, what they do, and now this is a great self-discovery I'm having right now, is what they do is they bring you down to your absolute self-worth is to nothing, right? If you're willing to go be a bullet stopper and take a bullet for whatever cause they're
Right.
sending you to fight for, they've drilled your self-worth down to, I'm just a body almost, except for my ability to do this one thing,
Right.
right?
Mm.
And so they've taken away like the rest of your person, and so it's up to us to redevelop who we are and redevelop that. There's no more, I've seen some of the most loving, fathers who are veterans, right? Like especially in our Ranger community. Like these guys are highly, they want to be good at everything, right? So they're highly competitive. They want to be good at everything, and they make great dads too because of it. Because they study, I study, I read books, how do I do better?
Right.
There's a really great parenting book out there I would highly suggest. It's called How to Raise Your Child to Be a Champion in Art, Athletics, and Academics. It was written by Wayne Bryan, I believe, and his 2 kids were the most winningest tennis players of all time. They're big philanthropists, they're musicians, they're all around just great people, and yeah, that's who I want to raise, right?
Yeah.
Some real champions. How about them Michigan Wolverines? Like those guys.
I knew you were
right?
going to talk about
so
that.
while we're on the championship subject, and the reason I want to talk about them is because I draw inspiration from watching Jim Harbaugh lead his Michigan Wolverines, and what he's doing with it is not there's 2 camps, right? There's this military camp where I will beat you down and tear you down, and you'll just do what I say. Very, very Machiavellian type of leadership. And what Jim Harbaugh is doing up there is these guys love each other. Yeah. They're a real team, and their mindset's right. And you don't hear negative words. You don't hear them, say bad things. They are just in a one-track, single-focused mind to do what they have to do every day. And that's where I feel like I'm at. And that's why, it's just been an absolute pleasure watching them dominate team after team this year. And
I know where this is going,
and do it with such adversity, and do it with such adversity.
Terrible.
With their head coach not even at the game.
Why wasn't he at the game?
Because they were accused of all this stuff, which the NCAA just said. They said that they won their championship fair and square.
Did they?
They did.
Well, they won the championship fair and square. How they got there maybe wasn't fair and square.
Well, and if you listen to what J.J. McCarthy said before the big national championship game, he said that Michigan back in 2020 was losing the sign stealing game to Ohio State, and they had to boost up their sign stealing game because every team does this sign stealing, and it's just a part of the business. It's kind of like
in game, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a part of the analyst. It's just one of the analyst things. I have a friend, one of my groomsmen is a scout for the NBA. And so he goes to the games and sits behind the bench and looks for signs and stuff like that, and fills out a form after the game and gets paid for it, right? Yeah. And so, this is a legit job. Yeah. I think they were probably just going about it a little bit. They were like stretching the rules,
lines just bending a little.
They were blurring the rules, and
they didn't break it.
Yeah, and I'm like, who did they learn that from?
Yeah,
Ohio State. Right?
Oh, that's a conspiracy.
Cheaters in Columbus. But anyway, congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines on their national championship this year and that third victory over Ohio State. They broke Ohio. They broke Alabama. I love that. I trimmed it down because I am so motivated and like to learn. I'm very growth mindset, so I'm constantly learning. And so I trimmed all sports down to just Michigan football.
There you go.
I was like, because I'm obsessed, and
Well, let me ask you this, just to shift gears a little bit, like with what you're doing with your business and how you're moving forward, through the mental health and everything like that. Like, how do you forecast your next 5 years in real estate? Like, what are your goals for you and your group moving forward?
Sure. So this last year was a great year. I felt like I was getting one-upped by my wife. She's amazing. Shout out to Bridget. She's my hero. I call her like a Viking warrior princess because I should say Lady Bridget. She is a lady. She's been named a lady in Scotland.
There you go.
And yeah, she was working. She was pregnant. And she was doing her clinicals and finishing up her master's degree to become a neonatal nurse practitioner. Wow. 3 weeks prior to this baby coming out, she took the neonatal nurse practitioner boards, passed that. And so I looked at my calendar for the year and I'm like, well, I want to grow, I'm going to start building the model out that Gary Keller has provided for us, right? and I got elected to be on the ALC this past year or last year, and they made me the technology chair, and I was like, oh, dreaded, right? The bane of my existence is my my ability to use technology, because I was overseas while everybody else was adapting to computers and technology and emails and knowing how to fill out spreadsheets. Like, I'm fighting wars in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And so I was always kind of behind the curve on that. And I don't like being behind computers anyway.
Yeah.
And so in February I took to it, and I know you have to be, it takes 100 hours of something to make you an expert. And so I knew, that, if I were to succeed, I need to become an expert. And I was using a completely different software. I was using Brivity, which I felt was the best at in the business as far as a real estate CRM. But I had to teach Command, and I'm like, oh crap, that's why I hired a transaction coordinator, because I didn't even know how to get paid for my deals.
Sure.
Because I didn't want to use the Command software, and I was like, can somebody else just do this for me, right?
Right.
Know how to do it now. I spent 100 hours just learning how to use Command and really trying to become an expert at that. And then I was like, now I got to get started at building out a team. So I hired an assistant and started training her. And then in April, I was like, I saw this advertisement for this Train the Trainer Advance, which is a course that Keller Williams has that teaches you how to be a better presenter, and you get graded on training and teaching their models, which is basically a I do, we do, you do type of training model for adults, which is highly, exactly what the military does, right?
Sure.
So it's a highly effective model for training people how to do things. So I kind of got into it, and I started, I got asked to teach some classes, and started teaching classes, and I registered for this thing and was just teaching classes, and went and I went to this thing. I felt like I knocked it out of the park. And then the weekend after, I got this thing that said I didn't pass. And which is really common. 90% of agents who go through this Train the Trainer Advance course don't pass. It's kind of their gate guard to, do you have what it takes to be a presenter for Keller Williams nationwide, right? And so I was like, man, so I recorded myself doing these presentations. I watched them, and so I sent him the videos, and I said, I think I disagree. I hit all the points that I was required to do. I disagree with your grading. Fast forward to Labor Day weekend, this guy gets back to me and he says, you're right, I did mess up, and you did pass. And I was like, oh crap, I have 40 more evaluations to write. You have 1 year to kind of get 75 evaluations. Oh, wow. And you have to pass all these different courses, and then you have to get recommendations from everybody on the thing. So, I got my regional director's recommendation, our operating principal, our team leader, the MCA, the team leaders. You have to teach at outside market centers, and then collect 75 evaluations from those classes, and then teach a certain set of classes. And then pick one that you want to be known for. So the one I want to be known for is really pertinent right now. It's called Power Through a Shift. And that course is great because it helps agents identify, what they need to do in their business to be successful, right? Mm-hmm. And the one thing that a leader needs to do is identify when to turn that sale.
Sure.
And I think that's where our industry, a lot of people, I'm looking right now as an opportunity. A lot of people are saying the market's downturn. We had a terrorist attack on our MLS. We're just getting, a lot of crap thrown at us right now. And I'm looking at it I'm like, yes, every day I wake up, I'm like, there's going to be more talent available. There's people who haven't turned the sail and reconfigured their business to the new market. And so they're lagging behind, and so are their sales, and they just need, a little coach up, and boom, you can get them right on the right track. And we're relying heavily on this technology. And I'm glad I learned it because Keller Williams, not only does Keller Williams Command CRM beat everything else out there, it's privately owned by Keller Williams, and they don't sell any of your clients' information or anything like that. in March, they're going to come out with an AI adaptation, which they're already using with our leadership team, that will allow us to identify who in that database in our CRM is most likely to buy or sell every single month.
Wow.
Now think about
That's
that.
crazy.
I mean, if you knew the top 30 people who were going to buy and sell every single month, do you think you'd have higher sales?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like shooting fish in a
I
barrel,
know
is
who
it
I'm
not?
reaching out to, you know?
Right? So yeah, I mean, well, they're in your database,
Yeah.
right? And so they know this because we're connecting their social media accounts, their Google accounts, and so we're going to be able to identify people. So when we have sellers who are wanting to sell and buyers who are wanting to buy, we're going to be able to match those people up more effectively because of the work we're doing within Command and all the stuff that Gary Keller's providing for us for free.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing, only a quarter of the agents are effectively even using Command, let alone effectively using it. And so that's my mission this next year. I have two. I'm gonna step back in the game and play the man's game and compete for whatever. We'll see where we end up, but I'm going to try to sell a lot of houses this next year, and I want to do that. And then we're going to take our systems and we're going to give them away to agents at Keller Williams so that they can speed their business up and get their processes on right
Sure.
to help advance their businesses even faster.
That's
So those are the two things that I really want to do moving forward. And the great news is Keller Williams is going to back me on this because I just got news last week that they're making me nationwide faculty for Keller Williams University because I completed all those requirements last year since April.
Congratulations,
Awesome.
man. That's
So
awesome.
that's pretty
Yeah.
big. So there's
Yeah.
165,000 agents nationwide. This puts me in a select club of about 183
Wow.
people who, including my mentor, Peter Chabris is one
Sure.
of them. Tara Smith is one.
Wow.
These are
Both great people.
operating
Yeah.
principles and the top in the region. So I want to be
Yeah.
in that. I want to be in that room.
Yeah,
Right.
Heck yeah.
absolutely.
So, and teaching has only helped me solidify and know what to do. And then, really, I've been using some Rosicrucian kind of principles and methods to reflect on my day at night and be a self-coach.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, and help me self-discover. And then I just go find experts in whatever field I need.
Good for you, dude.
In fact, I think I talked to you about a podcast idea before you guys started this thing up, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I want to interview agents because I find agents, Gary Keller said that if you interviewed one agent a day, you'd be like the best agent in a year, right? And so that's what I was like, well, maybe if I interviewed one a week, I don't know if I have time for every day,
Right.
but one a week would be great. And I just, I want to learn from them. Like, what are you doing? Like, exactly, right? What is that? Walk me through this process of your business, because each one of us has a different business. There's no right or wrong business model. I do think there's two different camps. I think there's the, dating to married camp, which is more highly relationship based, things like that. And then there's the, I'll just buy the leads and find out, figure out who
that
hits, you know what I mean?
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and so that, there's a lot of teams out there that may be super large teams and doing, double, triple the numbers that I am, but they also have like a $20,000 marketing budget, whereas
Sure.
mine are just these great events I can invite Danny to, right? And so I can minimize those budgets. The only, the reason I'm doing this podcast is because I feel like it's better than Facebook leads.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. We'll hope we can help.
So you look at, you look at the ROI of everything you do when you're getting really intentional about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You want to be intentional with every little thing that you do. If you look at my calendar, like I have a routine of certain things that I do every single morning to kind of get me motivated, get me fired up, build that Pentecostal fire within me so I can go out and just be a proselytizer. I feel like I'm a proselytizer of a wealthy mindset. And that includes God, that includes your family. And our job is just to help you with the real estate, right?
Sure.
I'm an advisor. I got to go out and call people to make sure that they don't make stupid mistakes.
Right.
Like I had a lady call me or send me a text last night that she thinks she was poisoned in her apartment, which I really don't think she was, but, and she sold it off market for about $30,000-$40,000 less than what I could have sold it for on the market. Right.
Yeah.
Painful.
And it's because I wasn't systematically communicating with her, that she did that. Right.
Right.
And and I had another client, I mean, why should somebody work with us? Is because I really care, and I'm for your dollar, not mine.
Right.
And that's why we work with like a lot of for sale by owners. They choose me because they know it's not about the dollar. I'll make it work, right? Like at the end of the day, I'll talk to my broker. We'll make the commission work if we absolutely have to, but I don't want to mess with my money if I don't, because I know how to negotiate for you.
Right.
And that's what we're doing at the end of the day. It's just trying to help people make good decisions. And so, we're out there trying to promote wealthy communities, and there's no better way than real estate. So I want to do education through seminars, walk them through and help people learn and know and grow. I mean, this is the one area where 90% of our millionaires come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so why not be able to educate more and more people on how to do that? I'm educating myself. And so like, hey, this is something new that was scary to me. My mom was like, don't ever own houses, right? Like, rental properties, your dad got screwed in the 70s and it's that fear mindset. And so that fear goes away with education. And so I feel like, we're getting out there and we're doing real estate education at nonprofit organizations, for companies, for all kinds of people, because I want to prophesize what we're doing and educate people. Hopefully you don't ever need a real estate agent because you're so smart, or maybe you become a real estate agent yourself, and I want to attract, those kind of people. I'm building my tribe right now is finding who has that same mindset and wants to go out, help as many people as possible, and build great communities. We want to partner with different businesses so that we put you on our social media and maybe get you an additional couple, clients a month. Feature you in our newsletter. We have a hyper-local newsletter that's amazing, right? And then I'm committing this year to making those quarterly calls and giving you the update that you need as a layman and out and about.
Right.
What is the market doing?
Mm-hmm.
I want my real estate agent to call me and tell me what it's doing every quarter. So, that would be nice to know. So then I could go around and talk, I hear some BS,
asking,
right?
So
You hear some BS on the news or whatever, and you're like, Ryan told me, differently. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And give them good advice that they can trust. And I'm not going to lie to them,
Right.
just to, hey, no, right now's the perfect time to sell. Right. Which, it could be. I think it's the perfect time to buy right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give upfront, honest advice and be the guy that people turn to when they have a real estate question and they're trying to build their wealthy life.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I think you've
thanks
got
for having me on.
I think you've got a solid year ahead of you and well beyond that. But I think this year's going to be big for you.
It is.
Excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
This is going to be a life changer year. I've already determined it. The word of the year is earn. That's the next level on the pyramid. And so I saw you had Cindy Shetterly out. I saw her showing the other day, and and I'm gonna get on that hustle. I just had to get somebody to take care of some of the other stuff so I can get back at the hustle game.
There you go.
And now I found some great people on my team. I'm gonna give a shout out to Ben Nip. He's now become the listing coordinator and concierge manager for our team. So he helps run the events and calls people to invite them and helps people get their home on the market, which is, I feel like, that's what people are looking for, that type of help. They don't know what to do, right? They're like lost. Do I buy, sell? Do I sell my home? Is it still hot?
Right.
So we need to do that, and we need to help them do that because they don't know what to do. If we leave it to them, it might not get done, right? And then
Absolutely.
I have Zaira. She's doing my marketing. We stepped up our marketing game this year, and then she's also helping with all the transactions and keeping our CRM up to date. And so moving ahead with those. And
good for you, man.
I just want
That's
to
awesome.
be a machine this year.
There you go. I think you will
We're
be
here for it. Yeah.
Man, you already are a machine, for crying out loud, man.
Seriously.
You got your family that you're growing. You're growing your real estate business. You're helping people. Like, it's just, I mean,
It's been an
And I'm
inspiring
personally
conversation.
growing, right? Like, I mean, this year my goals are to become, to become a master of the craft in the Royal Schofield Society. That's part of the Freemasonic thing.
Oh, cool.
And I'm also thinking about becoming a level 1 sommelier because I'm interested in wine. And, my friend's like, WSET might be a better choice for you. He's a wine expert, right? And I don't even know what that is. I had to Google it. And so,
Yeah, I would too.
so I look at it and I was like, I think I'm going to go with the Court of Master Sommeliers. It just sounds better. I could say I'm a wine expert or a sommelier. And I was like, sounds pretty classy.
sommelier sounds
Get
good.
a pin.
Yeah.
show
There
up
you
those wine, and then I could show up to his birthday party and be somebody.
There you go.
Last time I showed up there, it was all Psalms, and they were, just these people who, they were playing a game. They were guessing where these wines, they had wines covered, and they were guessing where it was from, because this is part of the testing for this, like level 2, 3, and 4 of the sommelier testing, is they have to be able to identify where that wine came from.
That's incredible.
In the vineyard it came from. It's pretty crazy.
Man.
Yeah, seriously.
To be that good.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I just want the basic.
Like
I just want to know. I just want to know the
country,
basics and get kind of like a, just be, on the expert level, right?
Sure.
I like collecting little expertise badges,
Uh-huh.
and being an expert in a lot of different things, but being a master at one thing.
Yeah.
There's the
So I'd
Eagle
say-
Scout in you, man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I got.
That's true.
All the merit badges.
That's
So
awesome.
Love it.
I like
Yeah.
it. So I'm learning piano. I'm trying to play piano. I'm getting out there doing open mic nights and playing guitar and singing and just really living my best life
Good for you.
and doing everything I want to do.
Good for you.
Man, that's
So-
awesome. Well, we're excited
Love
for
it.
you, man. This has been a fun conversation.
Yeah, sorry I went way over time.
Oh, who cares? I wasn't even watching the clock.
I wasn't either.
Nope.
Nope.
Don't need to,
You
man.
guys got me to cry on air.
Get the
Sweet.
passion. I mean, that was
Listen.
unbelievable, dude.
I'm highly passionate about
Yeah.
it, right? Like watching these guys die is not fun for anybody, right? Like what if, what if all your college buddies just started offing themselves,
Well, it happened,
right?
man.
Like
So,
you'd probably become an advocate of that.
yeah.
Right.
You'd be, and it's getting worse and worse, not just in the veteran community, but in the, I'm like, this could help a lot of people.
Sure.
In
Absolutely.
the agent community, in, high schools, there's a higher rate of suicide and suicidal ideology.
Well, not even to that level, dude, but like divorce rates are incredibly high with real estate agents.
Yeah.
Because you're not on a clock. You're on whatever time you need to be on. And, sometimes the family hits the back burner. So I think it's so important to be able to maintain that balance and make sure that you're there for your family and know, and share the same passions. Like your son loves music. Like that's incredible. Like
If he did not, he
It'd
likes
be okay,
monster
too.
trucks.
Yeah,
I go
yeah.
to like 2 or 3 monster truck, extravaganzas a year, and I do not like monster trucks. But I'll go. Now he just got his black belt, his little tiger black belt at Cincinnati Taekwondo.
that's awesome.
And so after, and we talk about it, like, it was you're consistently showing up every single week. I said, being a black belt doesn't mean you're the best.
Right.
I was a yellow belt beating black belts. It just means you put in the time and effort and the dedication, and it shows that you're committed to learning this craft and becoming a master at it. And
That's
I said,
awesome.
and so he knows, he got the little tiger black belt. He's got 4 levels of belts until he's he wants to be a 10th degree, Taekwondo master.
That's awesome.
He ran a little tough mutter race. I was running alongside this guy, and I was like, "Why are you going so fast?" And he said, "He's like, 'cause I don't quit, Dad." And I was like, I wonder where you got that from, but I was just like that heart swoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see if
Proud
little
dad
RGR
moment,
is
right
going to be the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Something
She's
tells
been
me, with the way you describe your wife, something tells me that she will
Yep.
be 100%, with her drive and her passion.
Oh, I mean, I watched my wife rip a baby out of
Yeah.
her body. Like I was
Anybody
like,
who-
holy
anybody
crap!
who
I thought
has,
I was
yeah.
tough, right? Like
Yeah.
everything I've ever been through, and I thought I was tough, and then I watched my wife, and I'm like, sorry,
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
You win.
sorry,
Yeah.
you are a much better person than me.
That's
She is, and she makes me a better me. She's given me the ability to have boundaries in my life, and say no to anything, and she taught me that skill. So she's just a really
for you,
amazing
man.
person.
Good for you.
So I found somebody special, and it took me a long time, and my life has not always been perfect, and I haven't always been perfect. I've been a very bad person. And now, I've made it my life mission to, when we got married, I told her I was going to try for sainthood, because if I miss,
Yeah. You're still up there. Yeah.
still up there, still do good. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. I think the first miracle may have been, getting rid of PTSD.
Sure.
And the second one will be helping, hopefully, thousands and thousands of veterans with theirs as well.
Sure.
So
Honestly, man, it's a win if you only help one.
Mm-hmm.
I already have, and those guys are still in my life. In fact, you know, the one I interviewed, and he's just been doing, you know, off the charts. Like we have this thing called the Keller Personality Assessment at Keller Williams, and this guy was off the charts in everything, except for money, which makes sense because they say, trust me with your life, but not your money or your wife, right? So, and I always joked with my wife because I was like, why does our baby look like Dan? Like, it looks just like him. I was like, what's up? I was like, so, but no, he's a great guy. We're glad we're friends, you know, and
It's good stuff.
just testament. The guy's an amazing guy and has come back from a lot, and just love seeing those stories and love being a part of that, and love having those guys still in my life today. You know, I was physically, you know, involved in multiple guys who have, who are still around. You know, one of them got his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and started his own gym. You know, and he had a gun in his hand. I heard the bullet go off while I was on the phone, and got another guy in Tampa to him, and because I wasn't physically there, and I mean, got him all the help he needed, and you know, it's great. So hopefully we'll be able to get back to that. I got to get some of these other tasks out of my way so I can do that, because that is what I'm meant to do.
That's awesome, man.
Love it.
So,
well, thank you. I'm inspired.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you for being a part of this, man. I'm glad. We appreciate you having an impact on us in the community, in the real estate community. So,
man, we could talk all day.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
I already got text messages to respond to. I got to see them.
Thanks for listening to the Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, powered by Nextdoor Photos. We do this every week, so be sure to subscribe so you can follow along. If you liked our conversation, leave us a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts.